Ladies and gentlemen, I'm stoked to have this interview with the content creator in this scene who is not only just a fan of combat sports, but who also gives you good reviews on games as well. Please welcome JayMMA. Finally,
Yes, sir.
I'm starting to. I've had a few MMA content creators come on my show, so I'm very happy to always talk about kind of divert from just the influencer boxing and all that stuff.
hmm
But yeah, I just want to ask, you know, you recently just hit 10K on YouTube, right? And I know you said that it doesn't really hit you yet. At least I don't know if it's changed now, but I just want to like kind of get into it a little bit from that aspect of your journey through social media. How has that been? From I don't know, 0 followers to now, I guess 10K on YouTube.
Um, I'm gonna be honest, it still didn't. It hasn't hit me. I guess I'm just
Yeah.
like I feel like the momentum that I have. So it's kind of like I don't want to
Mhm.
not waste time, but it's just like
Yeah,
I just want to get to 15K now. Now that's the
that's
the next
fair.
goal.
Hmm.
Yeah.
More.
So
Oh, sorry. Go for it. Sorry.
no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say because I feel like if it hasn't really hit you, you don't want to be like comfortable. If that's what I'm
Right.
kind of getting, like you don't want to get
Right.
comfortable, so you don't, you don't get comfortable, so you don't be like lazy from the content.
Right. Right.
Is
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel that for sure. I feel that for sure. What in terms of content, I know I've seen you obviously like consistently upload like like I was mentioned earlier, the games, UFC games, boxing games, and all of that. Uh, what do you kind of make of the new one with Undisputed? And that's my first boxing game that I just got. Is it a good first boxing game that to get Undisputed, or how do you feel about that?
Um. To keep it short, it's I don't know. I have like mixed feelings on the
Okay.
game right now.
Hmm.
So like on one hand, it's like it's fun, like it's like a good game at its core. But then on the other hand, it's like it has problems, and then like those problems are being exploited so much by like the community of players. It just makes the game 10 times worse than what it is.
For sure.
But
Hmm.
yeah, there's supposed to be an update coming out now next month is over in November. So December is supposed to be an update and it's gonna be pretty big.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping everything just stick the course, because it's better for me as a
Yeah.
content creator. I don't want to
No,
have
for
to do a
sure.
video bashing the game because I actually, like the guys that are over there at Steel City that are publishing and developing the game. So I don't want to have to
Hmm.
do a video essay talking about the downfall of the game. I don't want to do that. So I'm just
Yeah.
hoping,
Hmm.
December everything goes well.
For sure. I know generally with sports games because I'm not although I did play like UFC, I played like 2K as well. And in the sports video game market, it's pretty like monopolized to be honest.
hmm
And so when I
hmm
saw Undisputed as a different company coming in, I'm like, I'm willing to give it a shot to see, because I feel like if a company who's like wanting to grow, they'll obviously put like more effort, more care to a game.
hmm
And yeah, I mean, so far we're like the first at least like month. I actually really like the career, like the my career
hmm
thing on Undisputed.
hmm
It's just the online is still
Yeah.
needs like some work with it for
Yeah.
sure. I
Yeah.
played it. I played it like last night and or no, a few nights ago, I would say. And I had one where I threw an overhand right. I was not
hmm
even near him and it's still connected. So I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was
Yeah.
like, oh
Yeah.
shit.
I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it. I feel it. Yeah.
No, for sure. And I kind of briefly mentioned it just a bit ago, but like even like because you've talked about even just UFC games, right? UFC 5 kind of came out like a few years ago. There's rumors about UFC 6 coming out soon within next year. Do you think it's too soon for them to come out with a new game, or it's right about time to have a new game out?
Um, if you look at it, they're actually
Yeah.
sticking the course with the 2 year thing. So
Oh, okay. Hmm.
officially next year would technically, if they release in 2025, it will technically be 2 years. So they're doing it every 2 year thing. But UFC 5 was so bad it doesn't even feel like 2 years at
Hmm.
this point.
Yeah.
So I've heard rumblings about it before it got like announced. I didn't have
Hmm.
like anything concrete. I have no affiliation with EA, so whenever I
Yeah.
do this, I'll leak it. I really don't care. But
Hmm.
I heard rumblings and stuff about it, but now that it's kind of like from like an actual confirmed source,
Yeah.
I mean, we're just gonna have to hope and see.
Mm-hmm.
The same people who are making the UFC games are making the Fight Night one. They're supposed to be doing a reboot for that as well. So,
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah, we just gotta hope and see with EA, man. Yeah,
No, for sure.
yeah, hope and see with them, man.
For sure. And where do you kind of rank like if you have to compare like the last like 5 UFC games, where would you kind of rank it between like 1 through 5, if you don't mind me asking?
Uh, I
And
will put
however you want
US.
to rank it. Oh,
I'll
sorry,
put
go for it.
UFC 3. I'll put that at number one. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that was probably the best one. It's
That was
not
a pretty
saying a
good game.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably put UFC 2 at number two. I'm not really like a big fan of like the overly arcade fighting
Mm-hmm.
games, but I have to admit UFC 2 is fun.
Yeah.
Then I'll probably go UFC 1, the first one. I just recently played that and it's okay, so I'll put it at 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then UFC 4 and 5, they're pretty much the same exact game. I guess you could just put one at 4 where it's literally the same exact game. So
Yeah, nah, that's totally fair. I feel like they have their like different they're pretty much the same game, I agree. However, like whenever I've played 4 and 5, I feel like they're two different, how do I say it? They have their own problems, in
yeah,
my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah,
From
I
what
agree.
because I haven't played UFC 4 in a while, but from I remember I think UFC's 4 problem was like the amount of like 1-2s or whatever that you can like spam. I think
Hmm.
that's what the big
Hmm.
problem was. I can't really
Yeah.
remember. And then yeah, UFC 5 you just get away with bullshit, to be honest. So
Right,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
right.
But oh man. I know well, I want to go like one last thing about just the whole like video game well, you reviewing the video games and everything, right?
Hmm.
How do I say it? Through that journey and making that content, right? Doing the content for UFC, for the UFC games and the boxing games, etc. What's like the biggest, I guess, lesson or biggest advice you've learned throughout that journey that you can give to people who have wanting to, let's say review games or have some gameplay just alongside of that.
Dude, it's so niche. Like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like compared to other games, like compared to what I knew when I first started and now, dude, it is so niche. I did not
Yeah.
know it was
Mm-hmm.
like this niche. Like compared to
Mm-hmm.
like Call of Duty and like 2K and Madden, like those
Yeah.
communities and like the viewership is like this. And then you
Mm-hmm.
got the combat sports, MMA and boxing, and it's just it does not compare.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the best way to approach it is just try to be as unique as possible because no
That's fair.
matter what the content is, I mean, if you have a vibrant personality or if you edit the video right, however you do it, like you're gonna get seen regardless. But
Yeah.
it like this community is just so niche, so like everybody wants to follow what the next person did. So
Mm-hmm.
this
Oh,
person
okay.
got 10K subs, so I want to start. I'm gonna do exactly what he did, and it's just like a repeating cycle. So I wouldn't do
Yeah.
that. I didn't do it. I kind of did do that when I first started, but I tried to add my own twist, and then I just like
Yeah.
branched off. So yeah, yeah,
Hmm. Totally, totally. Well, you kind of said that you've kind of got the idea to do it from someone, but you made it in your own niche. Who was it that
yeah.
you kind of got the inspiration from to do that type of content?
Oh, that's a good question.
Hmm.
I would probably say, I mean, it's kind of hard not to.
Yeah.
Marshall Mine. He's kind of like the fucking how do I put this? He's like I'm trying to think of a guy. He's like the Phase Jeff of fucking
Oh, okay.
UFC games. Yeah, he's like the
Got
granddaddy,
it.
man. He's like
Hmm.
he's been doing it for like fucking 10 plus years, probably longer than that with like the
Hmm.
UFC and boxing games. And then we have Prioxis, who I've like grown closer as I started. That's
Hmm.
another one. So I when I first hopped in, I was like, I'm just gonna post gameplay, shitty thumb like everybody does. Shitty
Hmm.
thumbnail. I was editing videos on fucking iMovie on my phone. It was just ass.
Hey, man.
It was bad, man. And
Hmm.
starting off, it was just like I'm not gonna say I didn't take it serious, but
Yeah.
when I first got my first 20 subscribers,
Hmm.
I was like, okay, let's see. So I just did like a 30-day challenge. I was like, give myself 30 days, just see how it goes. If it doesn't go well, fuck it. I'll move on, drop it, and it if it does, then it obviously it
Yeah.
did. And I hit like 100 subs like in 20 days. So I
Oh,
thought that
wow.
Yeah, so I thought that was like pretty good. So I was like, yeah,
No, that's
okay,
pretty good. Yeah. Dude, it
yeah.
took me like it took me like 6 months to get 100 subs. I'm not gonna lie to you. No, I was like shit. No, but it's funny. It's funny you kind of said that. I think it's just cool. It's also because to be fair, you said it you did it in like a 30-day challenge. To be honest, I
hmm
was like at least you were consistent. I didn't really learn the consistency part within mine at least until like I pretty much 6 days in, to be honest, because that's when I started
hmm
uploading. I've been uploading shorts pretty consistently for the last year and a half. So
hmm
that's like my fucking that's like my
Right,
subscriber growth. To be fair,
right, right.
yeah. So I mean, I totally like I totally get it from that aspect of just being
Mm,
consistent and
mm,
like that's where you can get the results for sure. So and the quantity as well. I think that's like because in some aspects. I feel like it's with you because I feel like whenever I've seen your channel, you upload at least like 2, 3 days a week and
mm.
still get pretty good, like, you still have people watching and everything like that. So I think
Yeah.
that's like really dope for sure. Um, I kind of just because I know we were talking a little bit about like the UFC gameplay. I kind of want to divert a little bit into like your takes, your UFC takes. Uh,
hmm
I want to get to some. There's like I don't know if you've done some interviews. I want to get to that later, but first to kind of because I feel like you've made some takes on like Twitter that people either love or hate. I've
Yeah.
kind of seen, but I wanna first ask who are some of your like favorite fighters that you have that you like, I would say in the sport.
Um, inside of the cage, John Jones. Whatever he does outside,
Fair.
listen, has nothing to do with me. Has nothing to
Yeah.
do with me.
Yeah, that's a tough sell outside the
John.
ring or octagon.
Surprisingly enough, BJ Penn.
Hmm.
BJ Penn like got me into watching UFC, so I gotta give him his props.
Oh,
And
fair.
then lastly, it would probably be, dare I say, I want to say Izzy. I really want to say
Is he?
Izzy.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because
I
I was
have
kind
a
of like, yeah, I was kind of like
mhm.
falling off the UFC train a little bit, and I was like heavy into boxing. Then he came back on, then he brought me back over. So yeah.
Mhm. No, for sure. Izzy, because I started watching UFC at like 2019 that year, and Izzy is honestly like one of the first people who really captured my eye too. Like one of his first fights I've watched was him and Whitaker for the belt.
Mm,
That's a
mm,
crazy fight, and especially the build
mm,
up to that and everything got me really excited to watch his fights.
mm.
So yeah, I totally get you when I say that like Izzy definitely captured the eye of people when you see him fight for sure. Yeah.
Right.
No, I agree with that. What about your like Mount Rushmore for UFC? If you have to put like,
Oh,
four, what would that kind of look like? Because I feel like people have stuff different.
yeah.
Hmm.
People, some people go Hoist Gracie. I didn't fucking watch Hoist Gracie. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
man.
I'm I'm
Don't
not one
blame
of
me.
those people to do that
Yeah.
type of thing. I'll probably go Chuck Liddell,
Okay.
one.
Hmm.
Uh, Probably go, yeah, Chuck, Anderson Silva, GSP. I want to say Josie Aldo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go Josie Aldo. That'll
That's a
be,
really interesting list. Can I
yeah,
throw some like UFC fighters, see if it changes your mind, maybe? Like I'll,
yeah,
I'll say
yeah,
some names to see if it changes your mind.
yeah.
You mentioned John Jones is one of your favorite fighters. Is he on the Mount
Uh,
Rushmore?
Damn. Oh man, fuck. I forgot all about John. Uh, Fuck. All right, I'll probably replace Aldo with Jonathan. Yeah, I'll
Aldo with
probably do.
John. Okay.
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
probably
that's fair.
replace
So it's
Aldo
what?
with John.
Chuck Liddell, Anderson Silva. Okay. All right,
Yeah,
and GSP then John. All right.
yeah.
I'll throw a few more in. Demetrius Johnson. Would he be in there? Someone to replace with or no?
I wanna say yes because like he was so dominant, like they wanted
He was
to
pretty
like
good.
get rid of the division. But like at the
Yeah.
same time, it's just like when I think of like Mount Rushmore, it's not just about skills, it's about like how you like trends.
Hmm.
How you like change the sport itself. Like
That's
no
fair.
disrespect to Mighty Mouse, like he really wasn't like on that type of level. So I mean, he's still a
Hmm.
great fighter, like
No, he's
top
pretty
five
good.
GOAT. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So okay, you wouldn't put him in there. All right. All right. Just a few more. I know you talked about like changing the sport a little bit in
hmm
your reasoning. Would Connor potentially be up there with the UFC Mount Rushmore or no?
If I was doing it purely off of just like popular, I would put Conor at like two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll
For
put
sure.
Connor
Mhm.
too easily. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But since I'm assuming since there's like accolades and everything like that, you just wouldn't he's not you
Yeah,
don't belong up there.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. I have a couple more. Hopefully to
Uh,
see changes things up. Khabib. I know some people argue Khabib in the Mount Rushmore. I don't personally have Khabib on mine. So it depends on like
mhm.
what you think.
I don't even have Khabib in like my top 10, honestly.
Oh, really?
Like,
Okay.
yeah, I'm not really big on Khabib, like great fighter, but it's just
Mm-hmm.
like he's not really like when I look at his entire career, won
Yeah.
the belt off Li Quinta, 24-hour
Mm-hmm.
notice. Then he beat Connor coming off 5-year layoff. Then he beat Justin. Then he beat Dustin. It's like,
Yeah.
can't
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's not really that's not a lot, you know.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. So okay, you wouldn't put it over there. All right. I'll throw one last one. What about DC? Daniel Cormier, right? Two.
Mm. Yeah. DC, it just sucks. Cause like I didn't come
Mm-hmm.
around to DC like later, even though like we're from the same exact state. That's fucking crazy.
Wait,
But
you're
I
from
didn't come.
California?
No, from Louisiana. From
Oh,
Louisiana.
oh, okay. Okay. My bad.
No,
I was
you
about
good.
to
You
say,
good.
I'm
You
like, wait a second,
good.
because DC lives in San
Yeah,
Jose, so I
yeah,
was like,
yeah,
wait a second.
yeah,
But he's from Mississippi. I forgot about that.
yeah,
Never mind.
yeah, yeah. I didn't
Uh,
come around here. I didn't come around to DC till later, so
yeah,
it was kind of like, it's shaky. But if you would have put DC on a Mount Rushmore, I really wouldn't be mad.
that's
I wouldn't
fair.
be mad at that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
All right,
Yeah.
so UFC Mount Rushmore, Liddell, Silva, GSP, Jones. That's a fair one.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
usually people don't have Chuck Liddell and they'll throw in like another name. I feel like that fourth spot, like that Liddell spot, is always up for grabs with like so many other
Yeah.
fighters that you can definitely make an argument for. No, that's a pretty good that's a pretty unique list, I would say. Um but I kind of want to divert a little bit because we are talking about the Mount Rushmore. That usually gives like the Mount Rushmore is kind of like the face of or the faces of UFC. But I feel like in today's how do I say in today's world of the UFC, it's kind of hard to pick like a face of the UFC currently, like one guy to represent the whole sport. If you would have to pick one, who would it be and why?
To represent the entire sport, ooh.
Yeah, like you know how for NBA it's LeBron, NFL's Mahomes. What is that for UFC?
It'll probably be John Jones if you just talk about like
Still,
you just talk
okay.
about anybody
Mm-hmm.
UFC. It's either John Jones or Conor McGregor. Those are like the
So,
two the
well,
most. So yeah.
okay. Mm-hmm. That's fair. Well, one day, because I know Connor hasn't fought in a while, and Jones is soon going to retire as well. Once when they kind of go, who do you think there's someone who could is there someone that definitive that can take that spot, or how do you or no decision yet?
I really don't. There's really not anybody like right now. I mean, you could say like Izzy, but he isn't champion anymore.
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you could probably say Pereira, but Pereira's about to be like 37, so he's not too far behind John. I
Yeah.
honestly I don't know. I mean, you could say Tom Aspinall maybe, but we're
Aspinall.
gonna have
Mm-hmm.
to. Yeah, we're gonna see how gonna see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Taporia, obviously, I'm not like really the craziest Taporia fan, but he does have like
Yeah.
entire country behind him. So yeah, I would probably say him
Yeah.
too.
Speaking of Topuria, I know he had a recent UFC match. He went against Max Holloway. Her the how do I say it? The outcome of that fight kind of hurt for me because I'm a Max Holloway fan. But
Hmm.
what do you kind of make of that matchup and who do you think Ilya should fight next?
I thought Max was doing really good. It's just I was watching it with
Mm,
my friends, and one of them said, "Dude, Max is about to get caught. It's just late. The defense is just lazy." And I
yeah.
was like, "Yeah, he's probably gonna get caught." But I was in the back of my mind, I was like, "I just hope he doesn't." And then that
Hmm.
third or fourth round, I forgot which round. Probably was like the
Third.
fourth.
Hmm.
That third round starts, and then Max is doing the same thing. Then he get caught with that
Yeah.
right hand. Then I see him stumble. I'm like, "Yeah, it's over, dude." I
Hmm.
saw once I saw that, I was like, "Yeah, it's over." So for Taporia, I would like to see him fight. I really want to see him fight Diego Lopez next. I
That would
think
be
that
fire.
yeah, I think that'd be a really interesting fight. I just think with Taporia, he just has to fight for to beat him to beat him. I feel like you just have to have really good defense. I think a lot of guys just get too comfortable and forget that he has power. And then when they
Yeah.
get hit by the power, then after you realize, oh fuck, I need to actually like be defensively sound, it's already too late by that point. So
Hmm.
I'm hoping, Diego Lopez that, is that guy, but we'll see. Featherweight is cooking right now, so
Featherweight is
that
stacked. Yeah,
yeah, it's
there's a
stacked.
lot of
Yeah.
fighters up there right now. I know.
Yeah.
Even after, let's say, Diego Lopez fights, you still have like, I mean, I know there's a Volk rematch that he can get back to, but I'm not like the
Hmm.
most like excited about that one.
Hmm.
However, there's Aljo, there's Mazvar, um, there's a couple others I can't think of right now. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's been a long day for me, but there's some others I feel like still.
Hmm.
I don't know if when Yair is gonna get back into the octagon, but I feel like if he gets a few wins into a few wins in his column, I feel like that fight between him and Ilya would be a very interesting one. If he still,
Hmm.
obviously is in his like prime still, you know.
Hmm.
No, for
Yeah.
sure. Right. Yeah, I know you mentioned about John Jones a bit earlier. He has a fight. I kind of mentioned a bit earlier. He has a fight next month. Going actually, well, not next month. It's this month now. Him and Stipe. I know John's a clear favorite, but if you would have to get like an exact prediction, how is John Jones going to win it?
I'll probably go like second round, maybe
Second round.
something like that. It's probably
Okay.
gonna take Stevie down and probably to choke him out or just ground and pound him. I really want to see John fight Tom before he retires, just so I can
Yeah.
like get that satisfaction. Because everybody thinks
True.
just like John is just gonna like get demolished by Tom. I'd rather see that, but if this is his last fight, then this is his last fight. I really wouldn't be too
That's
mad
fair.
at it. Yeah.
That's fair. I have a hot take about the John Jones Tom Aspinall fight if it
Hmm.
ever happens. I know people might disagree what I'm about to say, but I feel like win or lose for John, it doesn't necessarily affect his legacy in terms of being number one of all time.
Yeah, I don't think it really does at this
Like
point. No, it doesn't.
if he gets the win against Tom, right? He's no matter what number one all time. It's gonna be really really hard for someone to overtake that.
Hmm.
However, if he loses that fight, he's still all of his accolades and everything like that he's accomplished. Again, is still pretty good for what he's
Hmm.
done throughout the whole sport. And I mean, losing against Tom Aspinall, who's what in his prime, a heavyweight, he has to
Yeah.
go a weight class up. It's like I feel like that will be taken into account. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's actually. You seem to agree. I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but I
Yeah,
feel like
I don't really I think with fans a lot of times
yeah.
they dislike somebody so much, it's always just like the next person is gonna be the guy. Like with Floyd Mayweather, for example. I always use this as a great
Mhm.
example.
Yeah.
Floyd was just undefeated, and then every time the next opponent was always the guy that was gonna beat him, and it never happened. And I think with John,
Hmm.
people just want to see him just lose so bad. It is so it's
Hmm.
like time is this guy. First it was Cyril, now it's Tom. And then
Yeah.
once he beats Tom, and then it's always gonna be somebody. So I think John probably understands that. So
Hmm.
that's why I don't think he's so pressed on fighting Tom, but I personally like to see it. Yeah.
That's fair. No,
Yeah.
totally. I totally get that reasoning for sure. You kind of mentioned you kind of used the Floyd Mayweather comparison. Obviously, one of the goats in boxing. Especially in recent time, boxing has been killing it with the fights that they have been producing. Over the last, I'll say this past 2024 year, it's about to wrap up soon. What do you think has been more of a successful sport between the sport of boxing and then UFC? I would say MMA, but I mean UFC is pretty much
Yeah.
MMA to be honest.
Um, I'd probably say boxing so far, honestly. I
Mm-hmm.
mean Dmitry Bivol, Artur Beterbiev, then you had not Tank. Fuck. You had Tyson Fury and Usyk. You had Terrence Crawford moving up to 154.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yeah, 150, yeah, 154. Then you had Canelo fighting this year. He fought Berlanga. That really
Yeah, he
wasn't the
fought
best
twice.
fight. Yeah, he
Yeah, I
fought
mean,
twice. It wasn't
yeah,
like the really two best showcasings, but hey, it's
yeah.
Canelo. Who cares?
Hmm.
So yeah, I think
Yeah,
boxing did pretty good this year, honestly. I
for
think they did
sure.
really good.
And they also had Ryan and Devin. I mean that fight was
Yeah,
also
Ryan and Devin. Yeah, I
yeah,
forgot
that
about
was
that one.
also a
Yeah,
big
right.
fight.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was a big
that
fight.
was
Yeah.
crazy. It was Devin
Ryan.
and Ryan. Yeah, Devin and Ryan. That fight happened. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember where it was. I'm generally like a casual when it comes to boxing, right?
Hmm.
But and I had like a space like I used to have like this little debate space of what is a better sport between the two.
Hmm.
I will say within this past year, I will give it a boxing. I think boxing this past year with the fights that they have produced and they've all been making like the big money fights, especially with the backing of the Riyadh season and everything. Yeah,
Hmm.
man. I'll admit that like even with UFC 300 happening, that they've definitely I feel like have taken the number one combat sport as of this year for sure.
Yeah,
Um
for sure. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And boxing's a very interesting sport in terms of like because it one because like with the UFC, right? When it comes to let's say like judging the fights, right? UFC has like a clear criteria of what they go for with damage being the number one most important thing. And boxing judging is like very subjective of what I see. People have their own ways of how to score a fight. And I kind of want to ask you that if you could what is your way of like judging a boxing fight and like what's the most important way to judge a boxing fight for you to think that someone won a fight.
I think the three main criteria is always gonna be accuracy,
Mhm.
ring generalship, and then probably just like I'll probably just say like activity, like
Mhm.
really just who's more active, you know? So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So, so with that, actually, I want to ask because I know Bivol and Better Be It was a very controversial fight, and with that criteria, how did
Hmm.
you score that fight, and who do you think won, or was it a draw?
I thought Bivol won. I
Okay.
thought yeah, I thought Bivol won, but I'm not gonna say I can see how Bear BF won. I don't see how he won, but I guess, hey, I mean he got the win, so props to him. But
Hmm.
I would have liked to see Bivol get the nod. I actually thought he won a fight.
That's fair. That's fair. I know. What is it? It was a really close fight. I really hope that they have a rematch. I don't know how likely it would be to have a rematch between the two. I don't know if there's like any
Hmm.
clause or anything like that. I'm not really sure of, but if they do set up a rematch, right, as like a very early prediction, who would you take within that rematch?
I would probably still go Bivol. Honestly, I
So
just think
okay.
he's yeah,
Hmm.
I just think he's overall the better fighter. I'd probably still go Bivol. Yeah.
That's fair. That's totally fair to say. Um, Speaking of like, it's still on the subject of boxing. I know recently, Regis fought, right? And you actually
Hmm.
interviewed Regis. I kind of want to
Hmm.
ask you just a couple questions on that.
Hmm.
What did you make of his last fight? I know I don't think he got the win his last fight. And just interviewing him overall, how was that? How was it? Just actually, I'll start with the interviewing aspect of it. How was it interviewing Regis in general? Mhm.
It was a good experience, a real down to earth guy.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was just kind of cool for me personally,
Yeah.
just seeing somebody that I watch on TV and watch highlights of and just following
Mhm.
his career, being actually able to interview him. So yeah, I thought the interview was really cool. The way he approached
Yeah.
it was great. The way it was
Mhm.
scheduled, he was pretty nice. So probably overall, honestly, was my best interview. Honestly,
That's
definitely
fair.
top two. Definitely top two. Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, have you interviewed more people outside of Regis and Raquel Pennington? Have you done more than those two, or is
I've
that the two you've
interviewed.
done?
I think one of my first. I think maybe my second interview was Chris Barnett.
Oh, what? You got a
Yeah,
Chris Barnett one?
yeah. It
Oh,
was like
that's
my
fire.
second. It was like right after he got that spinning wheel kick
Yeah.
KO. Yeah, but right after that. So yeah, that
Oh,
was
that's fire. Okay. How
yeah,
was it?
yeah. That
How
was
was it like kind of like getting to know him and everything?
bro. That would probably be my second favorite one. Just really cool, like
Hmm.
really cool guy. He was a really cool
Yeah.
dude. Just like hearing like he was telling me like crazy stories and stuff like that, and just some behind the scenes stuff he was telling me, bro. Really, really good guy, man. Really good guy. So
Hmm.
yeah, that was a great interview. Another great interview.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out then, because the only two I'm really familiar with is the Raquel and Regis one. But
Hmm.
if you have to, because you said that that was your second ever one. What was your first ever one that you did?
My
Hmm.
first ever one was Cody Verrett, Pablito.
Cody
Shout
Brett.
out to Big Pat, man. He's
Yeah.
the training partner of Dustin.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Hmm.
yeah, we live not too far away. That's my guy, man. We've been cool
That's dope.
since. That's
That's
my
dope.
guy.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was like my very first one that broke me in. Pause. So yeah.
Hmm. Not fair. I know. I know. Oh, you said you kind of mentioned about him being like a training partner for Dustin. What was did he share like any cool stories or any cool stories with Dustin? When you
Oh,
interviewed him?
dude, I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember anything. But dude,
Oh,
that
okay.
interview
No
was so
worries.
long
No
ago.
worries.
I don't remember anything. I'm gonna keep it
I was just
being.
curious. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah,
It's all
bro.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm
You
assuming it
good?
was just years ago that you did this one.
Yeah, bro. That was
Okay.
like
Hmm.
trying to think. It was either late 2021 or early 20. It had to be like early
Oh,
20.
fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
that was
Yeah.
that was a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair. One of your more, at least one of the first ones that I've seen, that especially when she won her belt was Raquel Pennington.
Hmm.
Uh, how was it getting to interview her, getting to I guess like uh getting having her answering like questions, especially from you. Yeah, how do you
Hmm.
make the interview and everything like that?
Man, I got asked that like so much. Dude,
Yeah.
Raquel is she's a really nice woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like a
Yeah.
real, like really nicely. Like even after the interview, like she was like asking me like how long I've been interviewing, and like we had like a like super long and pause. We had like a really
Mm-hmm.
long and deep discussion, and it was like I was like, wow, like I had never had like a. It's usually just I interviewed the answer. It's like, hey, appreciate you, yeah, no problem, man. I like what you're doing, and then
Yeah.
after that, I go about my day. But like she had like a
Mm-hmm.
really like good, interesting convo with me, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
man, that's kind of crazy. So, man,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, shout out to Raquel Pennington, man.
That's cool. I know she fought like a month ago against Juliana Pena. I
Hmm.
forgot I know Pena won. I forgot if it was a close fight or not, but did how'd you score that fight
I
if that
thought
makes
she won, and that's no bias. I
Yeah.
genuinely thought she like won. I thought she got robbed. If I'm being quite
Mhm.
honest, yeah.
That's what okay, yeah. No, I'm trying to remember it a little bit. It just sometimes I have to kind of like think about it again. It's kind of hard
Yeah.
for me to remember fights sometimes. That's one thing that like I kind of have difficulty sometimes remembering the fights. But yeah, okay. So you think because I remember people were saying that Raquel Pennington should have won, and others might have said Juliana Pena won. But with the whole like I guess like that bantamweight division, you think Pena Harrison is is that the next fight that might happen in terms of the UFC bantamweight division?
Hmm.
Yeah. What do you make
Yeah.
of what do you make of that? Who do you think will win?
Um, if I gotta be honest, Kayla Harrison's probably just gonna run through Juliana. If I make
Okay.
like it's not gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
yeah,
That's fair. I
yeah,
know
she's
Kayla Harrison is nuts. I
yeah,
like
bro, she's a dog. Yeah,
after her
she's a
first
dog.
UFC fight, I'm surprised because like okay, like this is to people who aren't too deep into MMA, especially how Larissa Pacheco defeated Kayla Harrison and
Mm,
she's still like and Kayla Harrison defeated Holly Holm and everything like that. I'm really interested to see like how that fight would go again. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's interesting because I know Larissa lost her fight against Cyborg, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or in the last one, or did she win?
I think she won her last fight.
Larissa? Okay, hold on, let me double
Yeah.
because I was trying to watch it, but it was super laggy for me. I'm gonna be honest. I was in like a bad area.
Oh no, no, no. She just fought Cyborg. Yeah, she lost. She
No, no,
lost. I
that
just
that's what I was mentioning is Cyborg
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Larissa.
She lost. Yeah, she lost to Cyborg. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like in because like since she lost to Cyborg, I'm really interested to see like how she would do against Kayla Harrison now. Maybe it's a bit different fight and everything. I don't know. I feel like the whole division as a whole, like that 135, 145, is like a very interesting sequence in terms of like fights being made and everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
um, one just a couple more questions until and then we'll wrap it up here. I don't want to take too much time out of your day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know since since you think Kayla will win against Juliana. Is Kayla Harrison a fighter? Like, if she gets some good wins underneath her belt in that division, do you think Amanda would return to fight Kayla Harrison? Completely in your opinion.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely think she will. Yeah, for
And then
sure. I
Amanda Kayla
definitely think
Harrison
she.
fight. Hmm.
Yeah, I think she will. Yeah, for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, that would be crazy, especially just, I feel like that would be I won't say a revival, but for sure, like people would really talk about that fight within the women's MMA 100%.
Hmm.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And then just last thing to wrap things up, man. Um First off, thank you so much for really taking your time
Oh,
out
no
to doing
problem, man.
this. Really means a lot to me. But any kind of like announcements, anything you want to kind of share before we wrap up the interview?
Um, I really want to. I don't know if I can say it yet.
Okay.
I'll DM it to you.
Okay,
Yeah,
no
yeah,
worries.
I can't say it publicly, but I'll DM it to you. It's crazy. It's like
It's
December is gonna be a really crazy month for me
Oh,
personally.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about November, November being like kind of nuts.
Yeah, yeah, November and December are
Oh,
gonna
no
be pretty
way.
crazy.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
bet,
yeah.
bet,
So
bet.
that's what.
For everyone who's still tuned in here, thank you so much for yeah, watching the whole video. If you guys like this interview, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.